welcome our third candidate from the College of Engineering and Design.
On any street in 𝕁𝕚𝕚𝕚, we pass by dogs resting on the pavement or scavenging for food. I know that we have seen this so often that some of you may have normalized it. But you know, strays should not be a normal part of our city. They are a product of human neglect and broken policy. They are a product of human neglect and broken urban policy. But I didn't fully grasp this concept until I met this dog. Good afternoon, everyone. I am 𝕁𝕬𝕗 𝕁𝕚𝕚𝕚, representing the College of Engineering and Design. And this is Best Friend. A stray dog was tumbled inside our gate, badly injured from a hit and run. Because of Best Friend, she taught me one game-changing truth, that strays should not be dismissed or removed. Strays should be addressed because they are a part of a vital solution. And she taught me that stray is a location, not an identity. As an architecture student and as a dog lover, I want to use design and merge empathy to build a system that provides a tangible solution to our urban problem. Asking what kind of system can we build so that the stray animal suffering, rabies threats, mass euthanasia does not continue. Born from the story of Best Friend, my advocacy wants to redefine how the public perceives strays. From the individual care I gave her, I want to transition a community-driven system where everyone is involved in taking care of our animals, slowly redefining what stray means through Project Best Friend. Redefining that a stray is just a location, not an identity, to prove that by taking care of our stray animals, we are not just addressing the animal welfare, but at the same time providing an urban solution towards a safer and cleaner 𝕁𝕚𝕚𝕚. But we have to look at the alarming problem in our 𝕁𝕚𝕚𝕚 city. Last year, 511 strays were impounded and 474 of these strays were later euthanized. Under the RA 9482, when a stray exceeds a minimum holding period of 3 days, it is legally allowed for them to be euthanized. But this system creates an ecological vacuum. Once a stray gets euthanized, it leaves an open territory and open access to foods, wherein new packs migrate and breed. So instead of creating a system where we catch and kill, why don't we propose a better system? And that is the ABCNR framework, our anchor: vaccinate, catch and neuter, and return. And ultimately, our end goal: adoption. Through Project Best Friend, we want to anchor our stray animals into zones where we will be allowed to manage them and take care of them, and at the same time partner for anti-rabies vaccination shots and slowly care for our stray animals as we provide them with spay and neuter. In this way, we destigmatizes what the public's perception of stray animals are. And ultimately, we want to end the stray suffering and the stray crisis, which is why we are pushing for adoption. My vision for Project Best Friend is to create a community, a rabies-free 𝕁𝕚𝕚𝕚, where our stray animals are integrated into a system of care, allowing us, residents, and our stray dogs to coexist. And of course, with our mission of turning that spatial system into a community-driven effort through our Best Friends pantry on our streets. But of course, with this framework, it does not only benefit our stray animals, because we provide them with safety and health. We also benefit our residents because we ensure that we are giving them a safer and kinder 𝕁𝕚𝕚𝕚 with a rabies-free zone. And at the same time, we are shifting or we are slowly integrating one of the goals of our veterinary 𝕁𝕚𝕚𝕚 towards a 2030 rabies-free 𝕁𝕚𝕚𝕚. And of course, with our target volunteers of students and youths, they will be able to learn that empathy and design can coexist to create a better system for our stray animals. In order for this system to work, of course we need a tangible solution. And that is Best Friends Pantry, a decentralized, community-integrated feeding stations that anchors our stray animals into managed zones. We have gone through 3 design iterations in order for us to ensure that this is not just an aesthetic feeding station, but that it is a functional and a clean feeding station. We have devised it with the use of 3-inch PVC pipes, allowing for a gravity-fed dog food and a controlled water level water pipe. With, of course, the integration that our dogs are dichromatic, we use color blue for water and yellow for our dog food. This capacity, or this feeding station, brings us to a net capacity of 1.58 kilograms of dog food and 2.78 liters of water, ensuring a sustenance of 24 hours for a baseline pack of 5 dogs. So, if we were to turn this plan into a measurable scale, how will we do it? 10 stations, 100% vaccinated, and 6 months. How do we integrate that into our step-by-step roadmap? We have divided our 4 strategic plans into 2 phases. Our short-term goal, which consists of ensuring that under 6 months, our stray animals will be anchored in our feeding zones, and at the same time provide them with access to anti-rabies vaccinations. And as we slowly transition to our long-term goal, we will be integrating our spay and neuter and continuously driving for adoptions. And with our long-term goal that will take us 30 months, we aim for a policy shift of what a city pound means versus transitioning it into a city recovery shelter. Before I proceed, this advocacy is not just on paper. As a matter of fact, we are already on our streets. With our first pilot phase, it is placed right outside my house because before I proceed to the streets, I want to make sure that I have properly assessed the behavior of our stray animals, how they react towards our feeding station, if they feel safe feeding there, and also refine the signs from the public's feedback. And from that learning, we were able to secure our very first partner location with the marketplace 𝕁𝕚𝕚𝕚. We were able to secure a full partnership, not just as a host location, but as a partner in refilling our feeding stations. And secondly, our Kumo Matcha with the same partnership. Because this will not be possible without our partners, the following are our partners. The city vet, which guarantees our vaccination for our stray animals, our student and youth volunteers, and the community who will host our locations. This is a very strong advocacy that requires full financial and operation. And with the collaboration with our student volunteers, we ensure properly that our volunteers will be able to refill and sanitate our feeding stations on a fixed schedule. And in order for that to work, we need to assess if our system addresses our stray animals, and at the same time, if we will be able to track how many animals we are anchored. With our existing 3 stations, we are left with 7 stations, totaling to 714 pesos each, and bringing us to 5,000 needed to fabricate our remaining 7 stations. With a total of our operational cost, this will lead us to 20,000 pesos to maintain 10 feeding stations in a month. But of course, our baseline money, the amount we have raised in 2 weeks, we were able to secure 15,500 peso with partnership through our college, through the Pickle for a Paw, and private donations. And in order to afford the remaining funds, we will actively drive our fundraising programs. How will we manage or communicate to our partners? We will ensure our 4 loops, which is academic updates, public ledger, our consistent drives for adoption, and ultimately letting everyone know that there is an impact on this advocacy. Before I end, I would like to say that when Project Best Friend reaches its success, it is not just about being a single team. It is about collaboration with the community. This is 𝕤𝕠𝕚𝕤𝕤 𝔸𝕌 representing the College of Engineering and Design.
That's beautiful. Just some questions. Your proposal is about compassion for animals. How would you respond to someone who says we should prioritize helping people before helping stray dogs?
So my proposal, Project Best Friend, is not just about addressing the animal welfare of our stray animals, but at the same time integrating our community to care for our stray animals. Through Best Friends Pantry, we are inspiring the public to care for our stray animals because they did not choose to live a life in the pavement. They were there because of human neglect. And I believe that it is our responsibility to provide a solution for our stray animals. Thank you.
Your project assumes that feeding stations will help these stray animals. But some people may argue that feeding stray dogs will actually encourage more dogs to stay in the area, and in fact may even attract additional strays. How would you convince these skeptics?
So one of the things that I want to address with my advocacy is that when we anchor our stray animals, it is not just to feed them, but it is providing an urban solution to an overlooked crisis in Dumaguete. We have scattered trash, road accidents that were all caused by stray animals, and we want to address this through our feeding station. And by anchoring them, we are tracking how many strays we have, providing them with the care they need, and at the same time making sure that the community knows that we are taking care of our stray animals.
I believe
as a veterinarian, my heart is very happy because I too am a very strong advocate for rabies-free Philippines. Okay. Now, is it safe to assume that you are an animal welfare advocate?
Yes, I am a dog lover. I have 2 dogs and then Best Friend, which has really inspired me to push for a solution towards our stray animals. And it was because of her that I realized...
Yes, I've read that, but
yes.
My question is it right for me to assume that you are an animal welfare advocate?
Yes, I am advocating for the safety of
so
our stray
thank
animals.
you. Now, I have a couple of questions. I'm very interested with your manuscript. Okay, so please bear with me. Okay, first would be the terminology. Is stray different from abandoned animals or abandoned dogs?
Strays and abandoned dogs are part of a single system because they are a product of human neglect. When we say strays, these are dogs that are occupying our pavements. And abandoned dogs are the same because they were once in a family, in a home, and they were abandoned to live outside our streets.
Okay. Now, like I said, I have a lot of questions, so please be direct to the point because I really want to make your mind on this, okay? So, looking at the general profile of your model, okay, it seems very fortified, but to me, it's very similar to what is already in place in most cities and countries, which is the trap, vaccinate, neuter, rehome, or release.
Yes.
How different is your model from the TVNR?
With my advocacy, we employ a framework of anchor, vaccinate, catch and neuter, and then return, and then advocate for adoption. Through the Best Friends Pantry, we want to anchor our stray animals so that we can track them. Because towards a 2030 rabies-free Philippines, we also have to address our stray animals. We are not just providing anti-rabies vaccinations to dogs, but at the same time to the stray animals. Because they are the ones who carry most of these rabies.
No, so what's the difference between your model versus the TVNR? Because it is just terminology. If you say anchoring, it's still the same model. So is this a different name for TVNR?
With my model, I want the community to be a part of a system that takes care for our stray animals. So we don't only catch and neuter, but at the same time, we integrate the stray animals into our barangay, which is the concept behind barangay dogs. As they wait for their forever home, they become a dog of our barangay, where everyone in the community interacts with them. So it slowly destigmatizes the concept behind strays and allows the community to love the stray animals and promote responsible ownership.
Okay. Now, in your manuscript, you said that clearing street dogs without sterilization creates an ecological vacuum of unclaimed food and territory. Unsterilized dog will migrate in and breed to fill the space, putting the municipal animal control in an endless, costly cycle. This is a very loaded statement, but is this an opinion or you are referencing an article or a scientific paper on this? Because this is the first time as a veterinarian that I have heard that if you remove a stray dog, more will come because the territory is empty.
This is data-backed and also my personal opinion because last year, 511 dogs were impounded and 474 of these dogs were euthanized. But why are we still facing a massive stray crisis problem? Then that creates an ecological loop because the existing city pound opts for catching and euthanizing. So why don't we address that problem in its roots and stop the breeding for our stray animals? Instead of euthanizing, we address it by stopping them from breeding and then return them to their territory.
Okay, on that note, you've mentioned euthanasia, which I think at the first part of your speech and also in your manuscript, that is your hook, line, and sinker. You said that these number of dogs have been euthanized for the past so and so. Okay, but isn't euthanasia shouldn't euthanasia be the priority to be resolved more than anything else by rehoming and adoption, if that is what you are concerned about?
I am for euthanasia if these stray dogs are with problems, health problems, distemper, or aggressive. But euthanasia to end the stray problem is an inhumane way. We are the reason why stray dogs are existing because of human neglect. And we are adding up to that problem by ending their lives. So why
let me correct you on that before you go further. Euthanasia in dogs is not against any law and it is not inhumane. There is a humane process of euthanizing dogs. Okay? All right. Go ahead.
So I would like to go back that for me, euthanasia is not the end solution, but we can opt for a more safer and friendly way where it is not just our stray animals who benefit, but also our community. Because at the end of the day, based from the people that I have worked with, and some are not even dog lovers, and while they were helping me with this advocacy, they said that I have learned that through advocacy, it teaches me kindness without expecting for anything in return. So it is not
Thank you
only...
for that. My next question is, when you did you consult a veterinarian?
Yes, I have consulted with Dr. Arapos regarding my advocacy.
Dr. Arapos is the?
Our Dumaguete City veterinarian.
Okay, and I'm interested to know what his opinion is when you brought this up with him or her.
One of the problems she have raised is that the Dumaguete or the entire Philippines is towards the 2030 rabies-free Philippines. And in order to address that, we have to take a look of our stray animals. And then I asked her, are you doing vaccination drives for our stray animals?
No, this platform, this feeder that you designed and you fabricated, when you brought this up with the city veterinarian, what was her opinion? Did she like it? Did she agree
Yes.
with it?
Yes.
Did she support it?
Yes.
What exactly did she say? Because I'm very interested to.
She supports the idea that I am anchoring the stray animals and then collaborating with them to provide on-site rabies vaccinations.
Okay, with this contraption,
Yes,
right?
with that
Okay,
model.
because the reason why I ask that and why I'm very emphatic about this is that as a veterinary student, very early on in UP, as well as being an active member up to now with the Samahang Voluntaryo Serbisyong Pangveterinaryo, and even in the US, communal feeders are shunned. This is not allowed.
Yes.
Of all the
Because
rescue attempts and procedures that we do, this is something that we do not support. Why? Okay. Did you consider how many diseases can be transmitted that are highly morbid, that causes high mortality among dogs with the communal feeder?
Yes, which is why we have devised an operational plan that keeps maintenance and cleaning. And
Which
sanitation.
exposes your volunteers as well. Are your volunteers or are you even vaccinated pre-exposure for rabies?
So before we deploy our volunteers, we have to undergo training and
No,
then
I'm asking for a pre-exposure vaccine.
we will be providing them to the volunteers. Although we
So
have
just make sure, because that's not in your manuscript, so that's very dangerous for your volunteers. So if you're not doing a lot of good for the dogs and even the humans
I think
involved
Silliman
in
should
this
advocate
project.
for an advocacy
You see my point?
students is to
Okay, the
avoid.
different
We will
diseases
not
can be
think these are
transmitted through that
professionals.
contraption
This is
alone
stupidity.
that has sparked an interest in you, and with that you designed this contraption. But I am very sorry, this is something that the general veterinary companion animal practice would not support. Okay, next, ad libitum feeding is not good for dogs. Do you know what ad libitum feeding is?
what is
When they can freely eat anytime, even when they are already full. Okay? So I think I'm very close, or I think I'm a little bit more than my fan already, but
for our best friend's pantry is to ensure that they are not placed directly in a high traffic zone. So if any cases that the stray dog causes an accident, then we will be the ones part of our community system that will take accountability and responsibility.
okay, so please look into these things, okay? I'm raising this so that you can somehow make adjustments if you can about this. But this is something that I like. It's as inspiration that has sparked you, and I hope other students as well, to be more involved in animal welfare. Thank you.
Thank you.
Design, you're not yet done. I'll try to be quick. Okay, because Dr. Shean released piece from a position of authority, wala tayong laban siya. But anyway, my question is, well, I like it first and foremost, I'd like to commend your presentation because you're able to deliver it clearly, confidently, and also your PowerPoint is visually appealing, and that's something really matters for a communication teacher. Okay, let's try. Isn't this advocacy just tolerating irresponsible pet owners? In a way, someone else is going to feed them.
My advocacy wants to shift the narrative that stray animals is being neglected. I want to push for responsible ownership, which is why this is not just a feeding station, it is a community-driven system. Together, we are pushing the community to refill our feeding stations and at the same time care for our stray animals.
Okay, so I have seen the prototypes, and in fact, you're able to install three, I think. Right. So during a week-long typhoon, how will stray dogs continue receiving food if volunteers cannot safely reach the stations?
This is where the true success of Project Best Friend is measured. It transitions from being a one team into a community-driven network. So as of now, we are very privileged and blessed that we are able to secure the 2 locations with full partnerships. So this does not include, or this does not require our student volunteers to be the ones refilling, because the commercial establishments have already volunteered to be the ones managing, sanitating, and refilling the feeding stations.
All right. I have seen the budgetary requirement for this, and it's quite overwhelming. It's a huge amount of money. How are you going to convince these students right in front of you, seeing the total amount? It amounts to 100 something.
A full operation.
Yes, I can actually buy an iPhone instead. Why not? Diba? So why should we invest in this project?
The full 6 months operation for Project Best Friend reaches an amount of 100,000 pesos, but this is considering that 10 stations work directly towards Project Best Friend. This does not exclude the 2 partner locations we have. So if we were to exclude the expenses when it comes to the refilling, managing, and sanitating, then this will lower to a significantly lower amount. And hopefully with the remaining 7 stations, we are able to secure the same partnership. But at the same time, transparency is very important, and it's very important to keep our followers, our supporters, to let them know that the progress of Project Best Friend is slowly redefining the initiative or the perspective of the public towards stray animals. Because ultimately, it is not just for our stray animals. We are benefiting as a community because we are able to have a safer and kinder Dumaguete.
So if the barangay captain refuses to allow a pond-free station, what is your alternative plan?
Partnership with the barangays is one of our long-term goals from 6 months to 30 months. For now, we are working in securing partnerships with commercial establishments or around the Silliman University perimeter. In this way, we will be able to build influence and at the same time exposure towards Project Best Friend. Because I believe that when we prove to the LGU, to the barangay, that the Project Best Friend's boundary works on a smaller scale, then they will slowly integrate this into the system because it benefits their barangay streets.
So what are the protocols, or what protocols are in place if children begin interacting with unfamiliar street dogs because of your project?
Project Best Friend has a...
And also, who becomes responsible? The LGU, you, or no one?
So with the feeding station, we have indicated instructions as to how our stray animals may react. As much as possible, we are pushing for them to not pet our stray animals, because it is important to keep them informed that our strays are living a heightened survival instincts, which is why we actually, if you can see on the screen, or if you want to scan the QR code, you can see that there are instructions pasted on our Best Friend's pantry. In this way, we really are just not influencing the public in refilling, but we are also letting them know that the stray animals are very sensitive dogs. They are not our typical dogs in our homes. They are surviving through the streets. And if they end up with some accidents, we will be the ones held liable for it because they will be anchored in our feeding stations.
My last question, it has something to do with the sustainability. After you graduate, what happens? Who takes the project next? And how can you guarantee daily maintenance, especially during holidays, when volunteers lose interest over time?
The long-term goal for Project Best Friend is to shift from a student-led volunteer into a community-integrated system. This is when we will determine that Project Best Friend has become a success. And for now, we are able to collaborate with the Silliman University Advocacy Committee, and we have raised 8 volunteers from that committee and 2 volunteers who privately approached me through Project Best Friend's Facebook page. So little by little, we are building a student task force, or what I like to call them pantry guardians, in taking care of our Best Friend's pantry. And if during holidays, we really want for our community to be involved in this movement,